So I just want to talk to you guys about something. So let's see. Tuesday night, I was having a very difficult time with my toddler. He was very tired and he didn't want to accept that. And so he was just raging and very emotional. And there was lots of crying and lots of tantrums over everything. And so it was just exhausting. And he had literally been crying and whining over the consequences of his own actions, which was that his TV got taken away for the night because he wouldn't stop acting up because he was told no. And he literally proceeded to cry over it and continue to make himself upset over different things, whether it was, wanting to watch TV or feeling like he was a bad kid, which I did go and talk to him and address, or like missing my mom, like just was making himself worked up over and over every time he'd start to calm down for literally over an hour and a half. And I was talking to my sponsor and I was like, right now is one of those times where I really miss smoking weed. Like I do. I do. I miss it because this is the stuff that makes me want to rip my hair out. Like when I can't help him and when I can't stop him and like there's no way to diffuse the situation for him. And like I really don't have an option but to just let him work it out. I've already comforted him. I've already let him know I was there for him. Like there's no other option for me to just deal with this. And so like I hate it because it makes me feel insane. And I was like, right now I really miss smoking weed. And of course she was trying to be realistic and put it in perspective and was talking about like the numbing and just how like all of the reasons why it's not a good thing, like why even if she understands like the thought, like it's not it's not the right choice, like why it wouldn't be a functional response, and so like obviously I didn't go and do anything. I was just sharing that passing thought. And, I was like, it's not that it numbed me, but like it muted me, it physically incapacitated me enough to where like, even if I was upset and even if I wanted to rage, like because of that delayed response, because of those chemicals being in my body, that would allow me to slow react. And I, appreciated that because now I have to practice that on my own, which is not a bad thing. And it's something I do actively try to do. I do try to work on my rage and I do try to work on, my quick response when I'm triggered. But I just, I was like, I don't miss the numb. I miss my entire body being forced to be calm. Like I miss the simple fix, I miss just instantaneously being able to do something that's going to help my body relax and my mind relax, and so that we talked about it. That was it. I moved on, let it go, get later into the evening, tried to do some things to cope and, take care of myself and tried to calm myself down and, did things in my own time to try to work through all of that anxiety and, overstimulation that I was feeling from that experience, because I ended up having to put him to bed like an hour earlier than he normally goes because he wouldn't stop. I was like, baby, you are so exhausted. You have to go to bed. Like, this is just it. Like, you have to go to bed. And he did, and he slept a wonderful full night of sleep. And I was up binge watching Lucifer because that's what I'm hooked on right now. And I got up at like 2:00 in the morning, and I don't know if like a song was playing in my head or what it was that happened, but like I was just being goofy, like in the middle of the night, up by myself, going to the kitchen at 2:00 in the morning to grab a snack. And like I had a moment where I was just being goofy and giggly and like singing and, walking through my house in the dark. And I was just like, I am so thankful that I'm sober, goofing off, going to my kitchen at 2:00 in the morning right now to get this snack. Like, that was just a moment of, I would not want to be high right now. Like, I would not want to be anything but sober in this moment. And that to me was a really big deal because it's not the first time that I've had that happen where I have, been overwhelmed and the craving has come back for something that instantaneously made these feelings, simmer down. And it's also not the first time that I was able to share it with somebody else, let it pass, do things to work on how I was feeling for myself and come out grateful on the other side. I have dealt with traumatic and tragic things and losses and experiences my entire life. And to be honest, like, all of the hardest things I've ever had to live through have happened in sobriety, starting with how I got to sobriety. Like, there are things well, in all fairness, there are things that I haven't survived. Old versions of me have had to die for me to evolve into where I am today, because there are things that I had no idea how to overcome. And so I leaned on the people in my community. I leaned on the people that I know can help me and that can be there for me when I'm having those cravings and those thoughts, just like my sponsor the other night, being completely rational and pointing out all of the things that were not so pleasant about those experiences, and helping me understand that, like, even if there is like a muted version of me and I've calmed down physically, that's a temporary fix, and the real strength and the real high, comes from the fact that I can practice within myself to create that response myself. I can do meditations, or if music works for you, or dancing, or crafting, something to focus on to help you channel that energy into something specific. There are so many options. And I'm really thankful that there are options, that I have people, and that I'm also not afraid, even after 8 years, to be honest about the fact that sometimes that stuff still pops in my head. And I do miss it sometimes. For a split second, I'll miss the idea of it. And thankfully, I learned a very, very long time ago to play the tape out and to be real. Like, sure, that moment, that little teeny tiny good part is a piece of it, but remember it as a whole. Remember all that that actually entails. Everything comes with a price, including your own temporary comfort. And I felt so much better going to my meeting last night and crying and sharing, what helps me in regards to the topic that they chose and how that has made such a huge difference in my life. Like, that made me feel so much better than doing anything would have. And I'm, that's not the only solution either. But, like, I love the options I have today so much more. It's just, the support and the connections that you can make in sobriety last longer than any, ulterior substance, high, drunk, whatever that I felt. It lasts so much longer. And I am so grateful for that, because there is no version of my life today that would be able to function if I was using anything. It doesn't matter what I want to, it doesn't matter what the disease in my head tells me I could handle or what I think I could control. I know better now. And I know that's not the case. If I was, I am a retired stoner, is what I say. I don't have room for that. There's not availability for that kind of lifestyle and the lifestyle I'm living today. I don't want to incorporate that into my lifestyle. I don't want to be incapacitated. I don't want to not be fully functioning. I don't want to not be fully aware. I have 2 children to be responsible for. And the idea of a version of me that could be messed up so that if something happened, I wouldn't be able to drive them to the hospital, or that I'd be passed out and wouldn't wake up in an emergency. Those are very, very real outcomes if I had chose a different life, if I had had children while I was using. That's who I would have been. I would have been that mom passed out on the couch. My teenager would be raising my son. If I'd even made it far enough to still have them, I would have lost them, because I'd already lost myself. And I like to share as I journey through continuing to find myself, because there's a lot to learn still, and there is a lot to figure out still. And I'm very thankful that I don't have to do that alone. And I look forward to continuing to openly do that, because this is what's important to me. You know, being here and trying to reach other people and, I don't know, help them see something that they didn't, or just, you know, in whatever way it is meant to universally align with you. That's all I want. That's all I want is, you know, the universe to work through me and allow me to reach others and help others and be there for others the ways that I desperately needed my entire life. So, you know, it's okay to have cravings, and it's okay to admit that you have those cravings. Just remember the actual outcome in the end, and I promise you that sobriety over giving into those cravings is better. You will feel better, and it will continue to get better, and things will continue to be better if you actively work on it, if you try to continue to learn more about yourself, and you rely on the tools that you're given and the people that offer themselves as support to you. There are so many beautiful opportunities in not doing it by yourself. And there are a million different channels and pathways to even begin to explore that kind of stuff. Like, especially nowadays with social media and stuff, there are no limitations to how you can try to find sobriety. There's no limitations. And I think that's awesome. So I love you all. I am sending all the love and light to you all. And I hope that anybody else that may be struggling with intrusive thoughts and cravings today can see this and know that you don't have to feel guilty for having those cravings, and you're not alone. And it doesn't mean that you're not actively trying to do things better for yourself. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It just means that that disease is still there, and it just shows you how sneaky and how quickly it can just come and try to consume you all over again. And that's what the tools are for. That's what your support system is for, is to help you defend against your disease and to help you have a healthy response instead of going back to the old ways that we used to that didn't get us anywhere good.